Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Leo, channel Levitate Style. Back again with another Finance Friday happy hour video. Before we get into this video, please follow me on Instagram at Levitate Style. I post daily men's fashion and travel content there, so follow along. Also, hit that subscribe button. We got new style video on this channel every week. Before we get into this week's question, a quick introduction about me for those who are new to the channel. I'm Leo, channel of Levitate Style, a men's fashion and travel influencer based in New York City. I am an Asian immigrant, first to attend college in my family. I study accounting and I've worked in Morgan Stanley and Barclays Bank. Levitate Style was started in 2014, 5.5 years ago with my girlfriend Alicia as a creative side hustle. Since then, we've both quit our full-time jobs and we've become full-time content creators. We've worked with a lot of amazing brands such as American Express, Audi, and Macy's. I've been featured in GQ, Men's Health, and Forbes, and we've recently traveled around the world. Now, I'm by no means a financial expert. I just love the topic of money and talking about growing my income. So this is a video series where we can talk about that with my personal experience. For this happy hour finance video, I'll be drinking Macallan. Cheers. All right guys, question number one, what are your financial tips for people in their 20s? Cheers. Now before we get into that, I just turned 31, and so this is kind of a self-reflection as well. I kind of wish I knew all of this early on. Number one is work hard to advance in your career. I think that's kind of obvious. Like, one way to make more money is to keep working hard in your career. In my personal experience, I've always tried to look for promotions, try to take on new projects, get to the next level. And in my experience in finance at Morgan Stanley and Barclays, I feel like it's kind of normal in the industry that you kind of jump to another bank every 2 years. So for me in the past, I started looking at the job market every year and a half, 2 years to see what's out there. Usually there's two ways to move up the corporate ladder. One is obviously within your own company internally. The other way is tough, but the truth is you have to leave your job to go to another one by jumping to different companies. So in my experience, I've done that a few times. Usually I look for a 20% pay increase every time I jumped. And that is a quick and easy way to move up in your career. Number two, obviously budget your money, figure out what you're spending your money on, what is necessary, what is extra, what is a splurge, and then figure out like, what is your bigger goal? What are you trying to do with your money? Financial tip number three, I want you guys to travel once a year, please. Save your money if you can, if you could afford it. Travel once a year. I think the experience is gonna be so great, and you can look back in your 20s and didn't feel like you just worked and you wasted your time. I've covered this in other finance video, talking about how to travel smarter and travel on a budget. You can really find cheaper trips. We've gone to Europe for like $300-400 round trip, so it might not be as expensive as you initially thought. When I first thought about traveling, I thought, oh man, it's gonna be at least $1,000, $1,500, but that's because during the summer and busy season, everyone's traveling is really expensive. But during the off season, it could be as cheap as like $500 round trip. And now things are so much easier now with Uber, Airbnb. You can really travel smarter within a good budget. Financial tip number four, and I really wish I did this, invest your money. I know it's like cliche, it's so obvious when you see those reports like, oh, if you invested your money when you were 20, boom, by the time you're 50, you have this much money. Well, I didn't really do that. I really wish I did that in my 20s. I really just thought that the stock market was really complicated and confusing, but it's really not that bad at all. For starters, for beginners like I was literally a few months ago, try out the Robinhood app. On the app, you can buy stocks for as cheap as $5, $10. You can buy AT&T stock for like under 30 bucks. That's like one takeout dinner. And so small amounts like that in perspective, it's like, wow, it's so cheap. Why don't you just try it out? And so I really wish I kind of invest my money early on. There's a lot of companies that 10 years ago is probably really, really cheap. You know, imagine if you invested in Amazon years ago, right? So I kind of wish I got into that early on and really learning how to grow my money that way. Financial tip number five for people in their 20s, and this one I'm proud that I did do this, invest in yourself. So have a side hustle. What are you passionate about? What are your hobbies? What are things now that have changed in the past 5 years that potentially could become a side hustle business? 10 years ago, photography is like really hard to be full-time. But now with now with social media and Instagram, photography, videography has become such a big thing because now everyone and every brand needs it. And so that really has changed things for the creative field. So for me, the investment in my part is buying a MacBook, buying the latest iPhone, buying the camera equipment that I need to be better at my job as a social media influencer. So definitely invest in yourself, find a passion project, a hobby that you love. You know, we spend all this time and effort on our 9-to-5 job that probably most of us don't love. You make that money, what are you gonna do with this money? Well, use that money for your side hustle business. You know, it could be starting an eBay page, reselling sneakers, starting a side hustle business, or really investing in your photography skills if you wanna build that into a business. Whatever it is, try things out, invest in yourself. All right, question number 2, what's a good plan of action to save your increase in income instead of splurging it? Cheers. My experience when I first started working in finance, I was still in Buffalo, New York, and that is a much smaller city, much smaller market. The cost of living there is obviously a lot smaller compared to New York City. So my base salary, which is a very average salary for an analyst at the bank, was $40,000. When I got a job offer in Morgan Stanley in New York City starting out, I was offered at $75,000. So that is almost double my income. And yes, the cost of living is more in New York City, but not that much more. And so you gotta figure out your money and your increase. I mentioned in video, I kept climbing the ladder, working at different banks. So by the time I actually quit my job, I was making 6 figures. And the key is to maintain your lifestyle, still be frugal in how you're spending your money. So the way you're spending money when you're making $35,000 to $100,000, the base essentials should still be the same. Like, obviously eat healthy, but you don't have to buy everything from Whole Foods. So figure out how you're spending your money, figure out a good budget for it, and then whatever else is a splurge. So once you figure out your base necessity, everything else around that, you need to figure out, is it worth it? Should I spend that much money on it? Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should spend it. Figure out a good percentage amount to take out of your paycheck every time. It could be 10%. If you're really good at your money, it could be 30%. So, but you gotta figure it out because that's very personal. It's up to you. But once you take that money automatically out, you can use that for your savings, your retirement account, your investment account, whatever it may be. That's gonna be a really big difference for you. One thing I mentioned in my previous video is how we realized that if it's saving us time, it might be worth spending the money. For us, it was laundry service in New York City. That was one of the few luxuries that we decided to spend on. Yes, we spent $40 on laundry, but that also saved us 4 hours of precious free time on the weekend that we can do to finally relax, to have a trip, to work on our side hustle. So things like that is worth figuring out if it's the right budget for you. Question number 3, how much are you spending for rent? Cheers, I definitely need this one. All right, first of all, we did a quick apartment tour video, so definitely check that out if you haven't seen that already. So currently we live in Dumbo, Brooklyn. It's one of the most popular and busy areas in New York City. The iconic shot of the New York City skyline, the Manhattan Bridge, that is the area that we live in. Currently we live in a luxury apartment building. For a 1.5 bedroom, we pay around $3,650. And that is after the 2 months free discount, prorated. That's the thing that they do in New York City. So because I signed a 2-year lease right off the bat, they offer us 2 months free. So when you take that into account, the new rate is around the $3,600 mark. In our previous apartment, which we also did another apartment tour, definitely check that out as well. It was a big 1-bedroom apartment building in Astoria, Queens, and that was around $2,000. When we decided to move into this building, there was a lot of things we had to consider because we never imagined we spent this much money on rent. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's almost double our previous rent. And so why did we do that? Well, a lot of that had to do with business reasons. Number one, it was better work-life balance and more efficiency with our time. We have a gym in the basement, we have workspace here. So we were saving time going to the gym. We can go right downstairs, very efficient with our time. We have workspace, lounges, rooftops that we can work out of. So instead of going to the cafe, spending money on coffee, sitting there for 2-3 hours, not that productive. We had our own space that we can always go to within the building. And also because we're in Dumbo, I can literally walk 5 minutes to the ideal spot that I want to get my content, to shoot our photos. So that has been a really great way to save time. There are times where last year we literally come back from a trip and we have 4 projects that we need to get done within a few days. And we're able to crush them in a day just because we're so close to everything. We can easily change, be very efficient, go shoot. And that alone has really shown how important this apartment is. Also, before the global situation right now, there's a lot of events that I would attend. I usually go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, usually around 3 events a night. So in New York City, being in this location, I was really close to events. So that saved a lot of time from transit in the subway. And other things that are important for us, if I'm taking photos inside my apartment, it should look nicer and cleaner. Now I have a really nice kitchen I can take photos, a nice bathroom I can shoot certain products. So basically the apartment really feels like a home office, like a studio set as well. Other bonus things that we consider for our money is having a doorman, because we get a lot of packages working with brands. And in the past, it's very easy to miss the delivery or have it stolen or lost, but having a doorman makes it 100% like I don't have to worry about staying at home all day to get one package. I can make sure all my packages are delivered on time and no hassle. Also, other things like having a dishwasher, because we do save a lot of money by eating at home. Things like that all make our work-life balance a lot better. So yes, when we first looked at this apartment and it's double our rent, we really have to figure out the cost effectiveness. Does it make sense to invest in ourselves, to invest in the business, to make this jump? And at the time, it made a lot of sense, and it's still really a great decision that we made. And I'm really glad that we've lived here for almost 2 years now. So this is a quick cost benefit analysis for you guys. If you ever wonder why someone would pay almost $4,000 an apartment, I am very glad that we do live here. We're very blessed with the opportunities to be able to afford a place like this, to keep our work consistent going because of this. So hope that helped you guys out. All right, so there you have it, guys. Another Finance Friday happy hour video. Thank you guys for joining. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. Let's keep going with this conversation. I might be able to include your question in the next video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Thank you guys for watching.